this kingdom that I want. Falling by the more, don't forget me. Falling by in this kingdom that I want. Oh, I shadow dressed in moonlight, redder than bone. I play them like mine. Oh, I'm blowing smoke in the eyes. Here from my throne. Yeah. Oh, I'm throwing stones from great heights. My flags don't show in this kingdom.
welcome. To lucky number 13.
Hello. Welcome to DATLAB 13. Yeah, we've got a really, really amazing lineup for tonight. We've got four speakers, including us.
Yeah.
5. And followed by a really incredible AV performance. Yeah, I guess if you haven't met us, my name's Torin.
Hey, I'm Lyell.
And yeah, we've been doing, I guess this is our 13th meetup officially. It's been pretty crazy. And yeah, the main goal is just to try to get everyone together, sharing a lot of their like interactive media arts projects, from like new media to music, bringing together a lot of folks, mainly like getting all the nerds together in one space. So we hope that you all get a chance to just like meet each other, and hopefully that these can be some opportunities to collaborate on things too. We are gonna show a new little toolkit soon that I'm very excited for y'all to get a chance to see. A little sneak preview of something that we shared in Japan. Yeah, another thing I wanted to mention as well is that we also take submissions for the different presentations. So we would love to see you on this stage as well. In the event form, we have like the listing for it, so please, yeah, write in. We'd love to see you up here and get to have an opportunity to share your work with everyone as well. And yeah.
There's also a link on the website, DATLABNYC.com, which I'm just keep adding more pages to, but we'll show that in a little bit. But yeah, Trey, if you want to talk about a little bit about the space.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to ZeroSpace. First of all, thank you for coming. I'm the technical director. My name is Shui Long. ZeroSpace is equal parts a production studio, creative agency, and innovation lab. We're very excited to host these community events to bring together creative technologists, enthusiasts, professionals from around New York City. I think it's a really great energy here, and there's lots to explore, to discover, to learn from each other. So I hope you enjoy. If you're looking for restrooms, they are in the back, and you can hang a left. And you all probably saw the pizza and drinks that we have over there, and then we have these interactive exhibits as well. So without further ado, I'll let Lyell introduce the first speaker.
I'm actually going to let Torin introduce the first speaker, and I'm
so
going to go to
this
the
is
back.
actually, so really, really excited for this first presenter. So Wei-Fang, actually, this is going to be their second DATLAB demo. You got to do a talk.
Oh yeah, like in the very first one.
I know. It was. We were definitely still figuring things out during that very first one. So we're really, really excited to have you back. They have been working on this project, and it's shown in Taipei. And I'm really, really excited for you all to get a chance to see a little bit behind the scenes. So please give a huge round of applause.
Oh yeah, hi. Thank you, Torin and Lyell, for inviting me to this talk. So my name is Wei-Fang. So my topic today is video design for 301 screens. So I was really lucky to be in the team that called Luxury Logical Studio, which is a kinetic art installation studio based in Taipei, Taiwan. And this piece called Solar 11. And before I got into the detail of this project, I want to give you just a little intro of myself. So I'm a video designer who had a background in theater design. So I just got my MFA from CalArts. So I do a lot of theater work and video design for theater projection design and all the performance context and dance, and also live camera have been one of my favorite things that use in stage. And also like video design for fun. This is an 8-camera show, and the tech table for that, the Macy cables. So for this topic, video design for 301 screens, Solar 11 is now still showing in Mocha Taipei. If you have a chance to see that, you can visit that. So the idea of this project is to use like a recycled tablets and recreate like a digital sun. So they came to me, said that, oh, we wanted to do a 300 video design for this installation, and I was like, okay, because each of them is 1280 by 800 and multiply 300, but we are not able to do that resolution, right? So, oh yeah, before that, Solar is actually a series that is already has been developing since 2010. So before it becomes like a screen-like installation, it's actually a lighting installation that they recycled lighting fixtures to do that, the huge, massive installation. So we wanted to use a recycled fixtures to do like a digital sign. So after 15 years that our sun already somehow becomes blue light, our sunlight somehow becomes like a blue light. So yeah, some more picture of that. So they came to me say, oh, 1280 by 800 and 300. So I was like, I haven't done that before. It's my first time doing so many videos, because they need to have separate video files for each screens. And when you step close to the installation, you need to see the details of the screens. So the first thing that I did was, TouchDesigner forum. Thank you, derivative. So I just asked a question, and Jack, he just answered me. I would say, you can use rectangle instance with a table containing UV, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, sounds good. So I got an installation. It's a model from the installation designer, and I put it into TouchDesigner just like this, just flatten it into a projection. But in my mind, I think I could simulate projection mapping method in Touch so that I can crop them into 300 screens. So I just did that. And then I got an index of each screen. So it's an instancing. So this is a render pipeline for that. I wanted to build a system, a stable system that before I got into the visual content. So like this. So there's a table that you can see there's an index, and each index represents one screen. So one screen is, there's an XYZ position, so I can just reference from the table. And another thing like projection map, UV map in TouchDesigner, and I eventually render out a 10K content, and then I just projection mapping onto that and crop them. So this is the recorder, a render for each screens. So I got, I think 19 or 10-ish recorders. So every time it will just record 29 videos. And then inside render, it's, you can see here, just it will just reference from the position of the index. So you just imagine the virtual camera, there's a 300 virtual camera, and then it will index from, reference from the index table. So I got this really easy movie file out system. So in terms of the content, we wanted to build a sun, still a sunlight. So we have a progression of the visual is from radius and then signal, pixel, icon, image, and to the shared content and also AI. So all of these are same sun, but just from natural light to blue light. We're still exposed to the light, but it's we exposed to information. So I got a network for each of these sections, but I'll focus on some of them because it's a bit too long, but all of the content are done in TouchDesigner, except for the X one. Well, the resolution is not good, but So in the very first one, it's just really easy noise and particle system in Touch. So you can see there's melting effect, energy and heat from the really primal energy, sun form from the sunlight. And for the signal, it's also really easy displays, more patterns that I just use display to display the analog lines to see that is like a screens, like visuals. Oh, the sound is the original sound because I cut the video, so it's a little bit like cut off. Yeah, and for the pixel section, we have like a 2D texture that it will just reference from the remap UV map to create like this. Yeah, I also add a little UFO here. Yeah, so this one is like a really challenging one for me, that we wanted to use image in each screens. So my solution for this one is that I got like a group. So it's kind of, I want to find a way that is a little bit generative, but not 100% generative, but I want to have like a manually, I can control something for the screen and for the image. Once, if the client just come to me and say, I want the certain like number 100 or number 99, I need that the motion to be like slowed down, I can just use animation to kind of just adjust that. So like this table, it's just the index of each group that for the whole group is a circle is one group, so each circle has a different like delay time, so it just look like it will report out. Yeah. And yeah, this one is like photo texture. So I just use this texture and we just reference from the folder that we have a list of photos, and use bit to just trigger that. So it's like huge amount of like sub to render it out. Yeah. And stream diffusion, yeah, AI generated part. We have another AI designer who is not here, but I generate like original feed for the AI, and we give each screen a prompt. So each screen is like an individual, a group of people. Maybe it's a group of artists or a group of photographers. So each screen is like a group of people, and as a whole, it's like a society, a network. Oh yeah, the video is like 5 minutes long. So yeah, yeah, and the last part, I actually use After Effects to do that because I didn't find a good way to do like a TouchDesigner collection stuff. So I just wrote using After Effects like TouchDesigner and just build this P5 JavaScript, and there's a controller, so I can just control this a lot of text here, and the text just reference from this world list. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the system design. It's a simplified system design for our team, but we have our own server and like media playback server, web server. It's actually like a Wi-Fi router. It's a wireless streaming for 300 tablets. So there are, I think it's 15 Raspberry Pi to control that, but it's like just a simplified system for that, yeah. And yeah, so that is my project, and here's my Instagram. If you are interested in more detailed, there are more in my website. Yeah, thank you.
Questions from the audience? All right.
Hi.
Hi,
Beautiful and mesmerizing piece. I love it.
thank you.
I have a question, but it's more in the logistical side. How much people were in the team that developed this? how much time does it took it, and for how long was it displayed? Thank you.
Okay, so I think it's a team of about 10 people, and it's a series, so it's already developed from like 15 years ago, this one. But for this 11, we developed about 5 months. Yeah, what's the last question? Sorry.
For how long was it displayed?
Oh yeah, it's displayed till January, so 4 months. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
When you said about each screen being like a group of artists and then all the screens together creating some kind of network.
Sorry, a group
So
of
I-
artists.
Yeah, so for one of the series that you had on the screens, you said that it was the AI generated one.
Yeah, yeah.
You said that each screen was almost a group of artists and then all together they were creating their own form of network. And I was
Yeah.
interested in like the thinking behind this, why you chose.
Oh, yeah, so I think this part, because we wanted to have a progression from a really natural light to information. So the information is like text, icon, image, and after image is AI image. And we imagine that each screen is like a chamber, just on the internet is a group of chamber or a group of people that will have their certain like prompt or almost like hashtag. So you see certain kind of people, they just use their own term, their own words. So just use those words to generate one screen. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
This with me under the palm trees, looked out graceful this way. Some kind of gin drink, some kind of jewelry.
Hello. So we've actually got a chance to showcase this new toolkit a little bit. We just got back from doing a TouchDesigner event in Japan, and we got a chance to do a workshop there. And so we use it as like a little opportunity to test out this new component that we've been working on. Question for the audience: has anyone here tried Teachable Machine before? Have you all seen that experiment? Okay, amazing, amazing.
Sick.
If you haven't seen it, it's like a web experiment from Google that lets you very easily. It's a web experiment from Google that lets you really easily train like image recognition, classification. You can do like pose recognition. So we were kind of exploring this a little bit in TouchDesigner, and we ended up developing this these two plugins that we're really excited to actually get a chance to show you tonight. So the plugin right here, it's actually called Classifier. There's no machine learning actually used in this component. It's actually a little search algorithm. But the thing that's really exciting is that it works with any chop data.
So that's really low. Just gonna have to find the sweet spot. This lets you basically take any abstract chop data, which would be a channel. It could be a list of channels as well. Those all just like be put in a line. And then you can train up these categories. So you're specifying what that data kind of looks like, and it places that into a like high dimensional space. And then you use that same lookup, or actually the second output here, to search through those categories, and you get a little confidence score. And then you can easily train things like custom hand gesture classifiers. So instead of relying, like MediaPipe, released by Torin, has like some of these, like I think it's like the I love you, peace sign, thumbs up. There's a couple like things that give you that 0 to 1 float, nice like ID. But this lets you train that on any abstract data. So it could be audio data, image embeddings.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that we saw that were using like the hand gestures from MediaPipe. You know, you can do like pointing up, like thumbs up, but then a lot of folks want to do their own custom gestures. And so the thing that's so nice is this lets you do it in like seconds. So we were gonna just quickly show you all a little behind the scenes of the component and maybe train some stuff real quick. So this is actually a little component in MediaPipe that you all maybe haven't experimented with at all. It's actually called the image embedding. So here, you'll notice I've got detect image embeddings turned on, and if you haven't tried out this new feature, there's a little piece where you can click the button to just automatically generate the UI, and it'll make this component for you. But basically, the output of this is taking the image, and it's trying to get a bunch of information about like unique features of the image, and it's passed into the classifier here. So what we can do is basically give this a bunch of examples of different images to create different categories. So I'm gonna give it some images of what the background looks like without, or maybe just with me not in the frame.
You can see the samples in the little operator record, and samples going up.
Then maybe I'll do one that's Torin, and I'll just put in a bunch of samples with me.
Oh, nice.
in
And
the
you can
frame
see the
somewhere.
confidence there in null 1 going up. Now it's fully Torin.
There we go.
Should we do me?
Hello. Yeah, yeah.
I can hit it.
Oh, here.
Oh, no, I can't. Yeah, all right, 100% Lyell.
Oh, it's me. Oh, there we go. And then last one. I don't know, how many N's are banana?
4.
Banana.
6.
Something like that. All right.
Get that banana it's not me, it's a banana.
There we go. Hey. Look at that. Beautiful.
Cool. And so that is, I mean, it's kind of like a model like Clip, if you've heard of that, which converts between text and image space. So that's actually throwing the kind of like the rough idea of each of those images into a higher embedding space, 768 channels, and then comparing like the vectors of where that crazy data that we can't even think about that many dimensions points, and then you're searching for the nearest one.
So there's another plugin that Lyell worked on here that basically will take all that information, and you can think about it like when we have this little information like the image embedding, you can in your head think about it like a little point in 3D space. And so all we're really doing is like giving it examples that are kind of clustered similarly. And what this tool will do is it's called a PCA reduction, and it will like squish it down into 3 dimensions. And so all you got to do, here's the PCA classifier. You just take the component and you can drag and drop it on as the operator and recompute it. And in theory, you know what? It's also
I got it. Probably. I'm just gonna guess. Nope. 3D. Clear results.
it could also be at a different
What do you do?
different distance.
No, that should be working.
Oh. Yeah. Something like that. Or maybe there's not enough results for one of them.
No, just do a little. No, that's just do a little live debug.
There we go. Maybe one last little thing that we could show too is showing like how to do one of the gesture trainings really quickly. So for example, if I were to turn on detect hands and then snag the information for the hand tracking, what do we got? But I only really want hand 1, so I'm just going to select out H1 star. Here we go. Slightly helpful. And then what we can do is take this info. Ooh. Okay, whew, I was like a little TouchDesigner crash for a second. We can take this info, and I might even just make a new classifier here. And I'm gonna set this as the input for both of them. But we can also normalize this data. So I'm gonna normalize it. And the last little piece here is that we can, yeah. True.
Just saying you want to throw a little shuffle there before you normalize. So you're actually normalizing across the channels?
There we go.
Yes.
That way we basically just have like all the hand tracking data as a single channel. But now what we could do, I'll delete some of these. We'll do maybe like 1, 2, and 3 gestures. So from here,
this is a lot less channels. So it's like similar to the embeddings at 768 dimensions. It might be 512, I don't know. But this is like, I think 30 or 20 or so. So it's a much more dense data points, and it's actually looking at like the distance between the hands.
so in theory, I can record a bunch of samples of the 1 gesture. Let's try 2. There we go, all right. Get a couple angles in there.
By default, it's looking over the top 100 closest samples and then basically splitting the confidence across those categories to get this this distribution. You can change that number though, so you could look over 5 or 1 or 1,000. It might be a little slow then, but.
There we go. And so one of the really nice parts is that this will work with any chop data. Like you don't need to use MediaPipe. You could, there's a lot of folks that will maybe work with something like the Muse headband that's like a EEG sensor, and it's like pretty hard to get a clean signal. And so that can be a really easy way of taking something like, okay, have the person put on the headband, like think very, I mean the Muse headband is a little funny. You can like wrinkle your eyebrows and it'll still like send a huge signal, so it's a little finicky. But you could do something like that to really easily fine-tune some of the signal here, and that way you could use like a brain readout or something like that in order to control some type of sensor or live visuals. But I think the thing that we're really excited about is that it just makes it so easy to like drop in these components and kind of like fine-tune these pieces. So you can do it with imagery, so you could detect certain objects. You can do it with like hand tracking. You could do a YMCA pose detector super quick. You know, you got a lot of potential options. Yeah, let's see if this one will work. No.
And you just had it too. You cleared the data right before.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a graph earlier.
So close. Well, maybe later we'll show the little live viz. But that part's really nice too, because you can also like see a live visualization of the layout of all the different data points, and it can be really helpful to see like what parts can be useful for fine tuning. Like one of the things that you might not see here is that it actually is picking up on like my left hand versus my right hand. So that's like missing in the data set. And with that little live preview, if you hold up your other hand, it can be very clear where you're missing little data points. So it can be helpful to kind of like finesse it and fine tune some of those parts. So
gives it like, I mean, if you've seen any sort of like PCA data reduction, you probably know what I mean, but it has like almost a natural distribution curve where it clusters these different categories in 3D space. And then it also shows you like a white search point, so you can kind of see what that input is searching towards. It's just way easier to visualize because that's what it does.
No dice.
It doesn't like us.
It's like, oh, you're doing a demo?
Did you download those from the site today?
No.
Cool.
That's from earlier. That's probably why. Cool. Yeah, and I think we're gonna set this up too. So we're gonna have some download links for this. If you want to use it, we're just gonna make it a free toolkit for people to just experiment with.
Do you have the internet? Or do you want
I think
to try
I
to
do.
show it?
Yeah. Open to a random Chrome tab.
Let's just do a little guest if you wanted to.
We're just gonna open up all of my tabs. We'll see. We can also just
Firefox.
share a link afterwards. There we go.
I just added a link to the website this afternoon, set up this whole thing.
Under tools, and then you can download it right here for free.
It'll pop up, you put your email in, and you can do it. Do note that you might, this is DATLABNYC.com/tools, but we're not verified yet by this payment service, so once they like approve us, it will probably work fully. Right now it's gonna say you're gonna get an email, but you're able to maybe download it, just, yeah. Well, it'll soon, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Basically, it's free, and then it'll say like view order. Just click on that, and you'll see the download links for everything.
Download still might not work until I get approved.
It works. Yeah. I tested it. Cool.
But yeah, also that website, there's a link to submit a talk if anyone wants to show off some cool work. But I think that does it for our little demo / presentations. We're gonna be releasing like a joint YouTube video and also probably DATLAB NYC or DATLAB not NYC, more like just online presence might have some sort of, yeah, we got some more projects in the works, marketplace, some stuff. Yeah, stay tuned. Cool. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Any questions?
What was the classifier? Why is it broken?
Hey.
Oh.
Jesus. Two quick questions. Do you have control over the distance metric that you guys are using to compare high-dimensional vectors?
Yeah, there's three. There's two versions of Euclidean, and then it's using cosine similarity by.
Awesome.
So cosine will be really good at that's comparing the difference, the vector,
Yeah.
and then the other one is going to be actually better at like the hand data stuff.
And then for the classifier, is it possible to do like both a sigmoid and a softmax, so you can do like multi-class classification as well as a single class classification?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Not probably in that same technical low-level way, but that might be like an additional component I want to add. But you can train like the categories, all of the samples, assuming it's the same space or size, which they should be, or else it concatenates and caps it. But you can train a single category and just get the closest lookup, and then you get a list of all the samples, just like k nearest neighbors. So, but that's a very good idea.
To add to that also, right now we're just using it to kind of like show different categories, but if you wanted to do like a regular search and just give one category and try to find like the 100 closest samples, we have that set up here. So, you know, it's a KNN, you can find, it's a search algorithm under the hood. So you could pass in metadata. So if you're giving it images or video or some other information, by default, the metadata is just a unique ID or some type of frame number, but you could give it a reference to a particular frame in a movie or something that you want to look up afterwards. And then what's great is that you can take that output and get like the closest 100 or whatever, however many closest neighbors that you want, and use it as an actual search algorithm.
Change this to the neighbors table. And you can see the distance on, and these are each of the individual samples, and you can see the metadata. It looks like only one of these actually got.
It might be my hand.
No, it's just only one category it got metadata.
Oh yeah. Other
Hi.
questions?
Yeah,
Oh,
I have one. This is great. Just curious about like how much you've experimented with audio, because I can see situations where I'd say like, oh, I want to identify this pitch, want to identify this instrument, I want to identify this technique. So it's kind of like it's a different kind of like, because each of those, you know, you can play closer to a bridge and you still have pitch, you still have the instrument. You know, what experiments you've done with that?
Yeah, if you are good with audio in the audience, I would love to chat with you. Basically, we like images. A really good way of finding similarity for images is an image embedding. So if there's a good audio embedding algorithm, that would be awesome. Alternatively, there's maybe like using an FFT or something like that. But you'll want to have a good, like the same way that we made a class that was the background image, you'll want to do something similar if you're trying to detect audio, for just taking a quick little sample of the background audio. And then you want to be like very deliberate about like just capturing the particular sound. It can be really easy for your training samples to like just still continue to capture the background sound and not the actual, like, let's say you're sampling a snare drum or something, like it's easy. You want to like just capture the actual sound of the snare drum itself and not the other background content.
We tried something with like spectrum data, but it was like timing was really hard. And I was like, I wonder how I trail that and like flip and concatenate, but you'd almost like always want to start on beat one. But you could maybe also train into like different keys, or even if like, I wonder if you got a data set of minor versus major songs, just that like modality, and train it on like some long form trailed spectrum data. It could be interesting, and then that might work per sample then, once trained. There's one close up here.
My answer was kind of already, or my question was kind of already answered, but in terms of audio, have you messed with like genre detection and stuff? Like, or detecting like fast-paced music versus slow music?
That's tough. No, we haven't actually gotten to try as many pieces around like genre detection or something like that. That could be really fun to experiment with.
I have some theories on that, and also maybe even turning like audio spectrogram turned into images and use another embedding model called Dino V3 to like do like, I really want to create like an audio reactive predictive model that gives you like confidence of the next beat and like time till next beat or next drop or something. Because like stream diffusion or a lot of these things that are heavy, you almost kind of want to like, yeah, anticipate the drop or something, and that could be cool. But unexplored. That's it? Sweet. All right. Thank you. yeah, I followed for probably since when I started Touch. But yeah, it's been cool to see your stuff. And recently I've had some stuff in New York, which has been awesome. I mean, you've been here, but.
Yeah, we're super excited to have Karyn back too, because I know they actually got to join us also for one of our very first crazy touch designer events, and yeah, they were amazing. So we only got to see like a short demo, so we're super excited to get a chance to see their presentation tonight. We're gonna also follow it up with a collab afterwards. They did a project recently with Harvey Moon, so I think we're gonna jump in afterwards to see a little joint project between Karyn and Harvey. So please give a huge round of applause. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Karyn. You might know me as Frog's Fit Simulation on Instagram. I do a lot of unadvisable things with video. I'm gonna go really quickly through a bunch of things that I've done in the past and then kind of focus on a specific arc over the past 15 months. So I used to do a lot of data viz, web, all sorts of little video experiments, motion graphics experiments, mostly on the web, then kind of went into more like interactive projection, and this is when I was doing a lot of work in TouchDesigner, learned TouchDesigner for the first time, kind of made everything connect and everything interactive. Then I started doing a lot more public work and kind of just throwing things up in public with not a lot of permission, but it was okay. Yeah, and then went pretty rogue and projected on a building, then went pretty rogue and did a bunch of crazy stuff, things like that. We can go back to all of that later. Sometimes I animate, things like that. Cool. But what I kind of wanted to get to today is this schizo diagram that I made the last time that I had to give a presentation about myself, which I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a diagram and like everything's gonna be super clear and everybody's gonna understand what I do, and I ended up with this, which I ended up keeping because I kind of feel like this is kind of relatable for a lot of people in this room. If you're doing a little bit of art, doing a little bit of tech, and also freelancing, like you're kind of adjacent to so many different worlds, and it's super crazy, and I kind of love all of that. And the more that I've done, the more projects that I've done, I've kind of started to enjoy kind of carving out the craziest path that I can through trying to kind of work in the same general area of interest, but through literally every perspective possible. So yeah, I kind of wanted to go through like a specific arc over the last 15 months, which is kind of this path. And it begins with a little bit of forgery. So a year and a half ago, I was working for a lab doing deepfake identification research, and this is a year and a half ago, so text prompt models were pretty bad, and so I was doing all sorts of weird things in Stable Diffusion to make super realistic deepfakes for these guys who were doing kind of trying to understand like what are people's heuristics for AI generated images, and how do we describe fakeness and photorealism in language. And as the only artist in the lab, also kind of took it upon myself to make the weirdest covers for these academic papers. Then I kind of wanted to go a little bit deeper into this space of visual investigations and kind of analyzing video evidence and provenance of information. And so I ended up working for a visual investigation studio here in Brooklyn called C2. And I was doing a lot of R&D with AI video models and trying to see how they would understand and interpret video evidence, specifically a repository of videos from the George Floyd protests that were capturing police brutality, and kind of thinking a lot about all these little decisions that would go into building these models that would analyze evidence. And when you have a piece of media that's your only way of understanding what really happened in an event, then it becomes really important how that piece of media was produced, whether it's where that camera was in the environment, how that camera shoots images, and then all these layers of analysis that you can do on top of it. And on top of this, the analysis then needs to be compiled into a narrative, and when reality is being tested, it's not enough for that narrative to be true, it has to be a compelling narrative. And in visual investigations, this is done through visualizations like data viz and reconstructions of the scene and things like that. But I kind of was really interested in this idea and wanted to bring it into a slightly different context. And so I ended up kind of setting off on this project called Surface Tension, which revolved around a meticulously crafted, absurd kernel of truth. By that, I mean the raw footage of a microscope capturing the process of me using a tool called optical tweezers to very manually, physically manipulate these neuron cells as my little actors. This is them doing a little dance. And what they end up doing is they end up spelling out a thought. But there's a lot of drama that it takes for these guys to get there. Sometimes they like misspell a word and they turn an H into an R, and so that was kind of the crazy little thing that was going on under the microscope, this crazy little piece of reality. And how that was constructed was, as I was talking earlier, this tool called the optical tweezers, which is essentially just a laser that can light just has this property where the edges are faster than the center, so it creates this little pocket, and you can aim that pocket at a really tiny thing, and it'll just kind of suck it up, and you can use that to move things when your things are really tiny. And so I was using this this device to manipulate these neurons, and obviously I had my bioengineering friend from MIT smuggle these neurons for me. Everybody always asks, but they're neuroblasts, which are cancer cells, so they're lab grown, but he grew them for me and put them in a Falcon tube with a little bit of formaldehyde and just handed them to me at Penn Station. So obviously I took it and used it for art. But as you can see on this glass slide, it's like totally transparent. You can't see anything. And the way that this works is you drop a little like 10 microliter droplet of liquid onto this glass slide, and then you sandwich it in between another glass cover slip, and you make a little vacuum, and then all of this movement is all physical, and it happens in this tiny little space between those two glass slides. And I thought it was just incredibly fascinating that you can animate matter with light, which is also like this trusted medium that we use to observe the world. So that was what this kernel of truth, that was how this kernel of truth came about. And the rest of this installation was kind of building all these layers of mediation on top of this original footage. And so the first layer was these artificial skins that I was making using diffusion models and taking the original image and then kind of making a depth map using diffusion to kind of create these stages of images that would kind of create these layers of skin on top of the original footage. Obviously playing with these layers of skin, or these metaphors for layers, and they would kind of morph in and out. And all this was done in Comfy, which I also love. And how these all came together was I kind of also really, I mean, one of the things that I really love about Comfy is that you can kind of take apart the process of AI image generation. So I kind of was pulling that apart, and I really was fascinated by these like earlier stages of generation, which you like can't really get out of text prompt models. And then the whole composition came together as like the original footage, like wearing all of these layers of its interpretations. And the other part of this was that It was installed, it took place in a fashion photographer's studio in London. The studio is called Show Studio, and it's run by photographer Nick Knight, who's had an incredible career of taking images of people or life at the macro scale. And so I was really thinking about, like, what does it mean to image life at this micro scale? As I was putting this together, it came together as an 8-channel video installation. And I brought these slides with me, and another layer of this sandwich of mediations was that I wanted the physical specimen to be a part of the installation too, and so I brought these slides, and you can make a microscope with a laser. So I kind of made this little laser microscope contraption, took apart a 35mm slide projector and shoved it in, and then kind of punched out the glass slides into these 35mm slides. So there was like this super analog physical animation that was cycling through all of the slides that I used to make the digital animation. And this was all kind of going on in parallel with the digital animation that I made in this space. And this thing looked really weird. And then there was this final layer of mediation by this drone that was choreographed to fly around in this space. And so there was this big mirror that separated the inside of the gallery and the outside of the gallery. And you would only be able to see the inside of the show or the actual show through this mediated drone's eye that was presented to you on this little TV in front of the gallery. And this took all sorts of crazy stuff to make work. I ended up using this like very outdoors DJI drone, and the DJI API is super unfriendly if you've ever tried to do anything with it. I ended up making this like crazy drone controller in touch, which I don't recommend, but nothing bad happened. It was a lot of fun. And that was what this looked like. This was this drone app that I had to make to communicate with touch. And this is a drone kind of flying into itself on the other side of the mirror. And the mirror is like all warped, so it looks really crazy. So that was surface tension. And after surface tension, I gave a bunch of presentations about surface tension, and I really hated the experience of putting everything onto a keynote. So then I ended up making this like crazy platform where I could kind of like tie together, like I could throw in all of my influences and all of my research and all the process and kind of tie it together in this crazy node, like graph based space. And this set me on a project with a good friend of mine, Wendy Yan, who is also an incredible artist. But we ended up making a little platform that we call Pond, which will be public soon, but it's kind of this space to think about like the architecture of ideas and research process and sort of how to visualize research process itself as an artifact. And then we're on to Trash Tornado, which is a project that I did with Harvey, which is actually called Boring Reality, and that title actually comes from my earlier work with deepfake identification, where there was a LoRa that I used to use a lot it was called Boring Reality, and it was like the best LoRa to bypass people's heuristics for AI, because what it did was it would make the image a little bit duller and it would make people uglier. And I thought that was just, I don't know, it lodged itself in my brain for a bit. And Harvey, do you want to come up and talk about this? But yeah, let's see. This is kind of the whole installation. So this happened over a week. We made this happen over a week. And it revolved around this sphere that we made.
I think we spent a few months. There was a few months of prep, but really most of the work happened with a small team in Brooklyn.
with a small team, with our three friends, Owen, True Blood, incredible Houdini artist, Brian Oakes, also crazy artist, and Leo Martinez. And it was a group of 5 of us that put this together in like a week, basically. But it revolved around this sphere that had like a bunch of trash, like animatronic trash, and we had these little guys in there called the protesters, and they were holding little signs that said like stupid things like converge now or whatever. And then there was this like 3-axis or 3-sided device that we called the enhancer, which had like a camera on the back. It was like this screen camera sandwich, and it would scan around the bubble, and it would take pictures of the trash, and then it would like live AI enhance it into beauty shots, because it was a Fashion Week project. So this is more of this little enhancer guy, kind of scanning around. And we had like 100 servos in that little sphere. Yeah, this is the enhancer doing its enhancing.
Oh, all in TouchDesigner.
All in TouchDesigner. We had like 100 servos, a bunch of lights, a bunch of lasers, your winches.
LED, DMX.
DMX, well, the lights, and then the screens, 3, 4 screens.
Yeah, 4 screens.
And then Comfy,
Projector.
and then I had Comfy doing like an internal loop back into TouchDesigner. So it was like a whole little system, like a whole little microcosm that we made in here. These are the crazy servos. Crazy servo system.
It was really like,
all for
like how
one
much
day.
could we put into a ball in one? There might have been like 10 miles of cables in there. I'm surprised that it worked as well as it did. But there's something really fun about like getting together with your friends and making something that you know you're gonna throw away or destroy in 24 hours.
Yeah,
and,
like we knew this was only gonna be up for like 6 hours.
so that sort of paints the picture of how you build something if you know you don't have to keep fixing it tomorrow.
Yeah, that was the
It's
fun
fun.
part
Yeah,
of
you should
it,
try
because
it
you don't
if you
have to
haven't.
keep it up. You don't have to think about, yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Do you have anything more to say about Trash Tornado?
Oh yeah, the robot arm. We forgot about the robot arm.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. And we had a media partner, Show Studio was our media partner, so they kind of took this incredible documentation for us.
So if you have a venue that you'd like a trash tornado in, just give us a call.
And we'll put it
bring back
together
to
in
life.
a week. Cool, that's it from me.
Questions from the audience?
No questions.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Thank you for the presentation. That was super cool look into what you do. And along those lines, like, you talked about so many different technologies, some of which are not like commonly associated with art. So when you embark on a project and you select like what tools or technologies you want to use, how do you go about selecting that?
Yeah, I'm curious what you have in mind about technologies that aren't commonly associated with art.
Optical tweezers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that one actually, I don't know. It started with I wanted to make like a microscopic film, or I wanted to make something crazy happen at like a dimension that we can't see. So, I mean, that was where it started, and I was like doing all sorts of weird things, trying to like print at a really small scale, and that wasn't working. And then randomly, my friend who did physics told me about optical tweezers, and he was like, I don't know where you would find one, but like this thing exists. And I was like, okay, well, I have to find one now, because that's just such a poetic tool, and it's like kind of crazy that it's just like usually just sitting, it's just collecting dust in like a physics department, because people made this thing and then they don't really know what to do with it. And then I found it at NYU, and then the professor there was like super happy that I told him that I was gonna make like Shakespeare happen with my little neurons, and he was really happy about that, so. But yeah, that was more, I don't know, it started in a different place.
You mentioned Pond being available soon. Do you have a sense of when?
Hopefully by the end of the year.
Actually, what does Pond do? Like, could you describe it in more detail?
Yeah, it's mostly, it was kind of an exploratory project with me and my friend Wendy, just thinking about like how, like, a lot of artists, like there's so much depth and research that goes into their work, and it's kind of like unfortunate that you don't get to interact with all of it. So we were kind of thinking about like what would be like a fun bibliography, or like kind of like a fun format for like a bibliography, like references that artists have for like their work and their process. So yeah, so kind of just broadly thinking about like how do you turn that side, the kind of whole research graph of that goes into work, into like a shareable artifact.
Very cool.
You were going through a ton of examples pretty quickly, and I was just wondering, like, do you know where all of that is on that desktop? Because, like,
I do. Yeah, there's like regions. It's super. I'm like
yeah,
super
you're
spatially
you're
oriented.
much smarter than me. Like, I could not. I have no idea how you find things on there.
No, DS Store is like my favorite file.
Any other questions?
Hi, that was really cool. This is less of a technical question. It's more about, in the beginning you showed a diagram where you were like, you have so many, like as artists or designers, we have so many different interests and we keep jumping from one thing to another. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, does that overwhelm you? Like, how do you keep track of all your interests? And then, or is it like you do the one thing and then you get tired of it and then you do the next thing? Like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, it definitely does overwhelm me all the time. I mean, there's always something that's like interesting and I want to dive into, and I'm like, maybe I want to like go back to school for that, which is like crazy, and I'm kind of always have like a set of things that I'm cycling through. But I do like to kind of compartmentalize things into a project, and I feel like installations for me are like kind of a way to just show publicly like a snapshot of like things that I'm thinking about. So like I'm never really precious with sharing work. It's kind of just a way to keep people updated on like what I'm thinking about. So that's kind of a good way to hold myself accountable, is kind of every now and then showing something about what I'm thinking about. And I think, yeah, just by having so many kind of interests, I'll always be cycling through things, but it's always hard to kind of wrap things up into a presentable format, but I try not to be super precious about that.
Thank you. Also, can you share your Instagram again?
My Instagram?
Yeah.
It's frog_spit_simulation.
All right, we're back. So our next guest is actually coming here all the way from LA. We're super, super excited to have Harvey here tonight. I think I initially maybe heard of like Harvey's work like around the Obscura era, which is crazy. And Harvey's been doing some like really incredible work, has a team out in LA, runs Spectra Studio, and it was really incredible getting a chance to see the space. And they've been doing a lot of community work there as well. So if you're in LA, definitely go check out their space as well. They've been hosting TouchDesigner meetups and also like community oriented events as well to have a number of artists like come through and show interactive work. And so we're super, super excited to have Harvey here tonight. Could you please give a huge round of applause? Thanks.
Hello. Thanks for coming. I'm a little nervous because this is the first time I'm doing this. It's an experimental TouchDesigner based presentation. I got fed up with Google Slides. So the whole thing is this one DAT. So if I made any mistakes, it might break. So bear with me. Live demo time. So once I press play, it's just going to run. So we all have to keep up. 20 minutes, it's set to the second, so here we go. Ready? Ready? Okay. All right, my name is Harvey Moon. I'm a new media artist based in LA. And I wear a couple different hats. I wasn't sure which audience this was going to be, so I made kind of a multidisciplinary presentation for you. So there's a little bit of a couple different things. I'm starting with the art first, of course, because that's the most important. And for a long time, I've been really interested in time and the place that we exist in time. Oh, that's not good. Okay. The first piece I'm going to show you is this boot box. So I made a box that would capture a frame of my boots every single day, collapsing all the wear and tear to this 20-second clip. And I was really interested in time-lapse and this idea that the medium of time-lapse could consolidate and collapse the changes of time that are otherwise unnoticeable to us. Here's a flock of birds that just through layering their gestures over time, you can reveal these interesting movements and gestures that they just naturally make. And there was something really interesting about the medium that could reveal insights that were otherwise invisible to us, that just using the technology, you could allow yourself and augment your perception and really extend outside of our normal momentary understanding of the world. My foundations in art really came from photography. So a lot of my inspirations were, of course, Muybridge. Like, how could we know slow motion, that horses do these things, or that things happen in a certain way that we couldn't perceive before, and it forever changed how we see the world. Of course, Edgerton and this frozen moment, or this stroboscopic collapsation of motion and movement. So photography was really inspiring for me in my early years as a way of visualizing and understanding time in a different way. And it sort of revealed to us insights about the world that, we couldn't understand. So Bergalia brothers of, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Does anyone know how to pronounce this name? Afterwards, if you know, help me understand how to pronounce the name better. But really inspired by this collapsing of time and space, and that's a theme that I really leaned into with my own works. And of course, Henry Cartier-Bresson and the decisive moment, where there was something magical in this frame, in this instance, in this now, that could only be captured with a frame. So in my own work, I was really curious about how we could collapse time and space in different ways using these mediums, using these technologies, and inventing new ways of collapsing time and space. And thinking about your place and your now and your moment that you're in may not be so unique to you. It may be shifted in time from someone else who had a very similar experience that was just 5 or 10 minutes earlier than you. And so what does it mean to be in that moment, to be in that now, and then to extend yourself outside of that position and outside of this momentary understanding? So wait a second, before we go any further, how long is now? Does anybody know? Is there even a now at all? If now is just our understanding of what is around us, then we may have already missed it. A small duration exists between the now occurring, the light entering our eyes, and the signal sent to our brain. This gap between happening and understanding means we can only know now after it has ended. So we must all be living in the past, always. So does it change your perception if you think that every step you've taken was taken by someone else? That every move you made was not as unique or as now as you might have thought? And if you were shifted in time, would it change the way you saw the world if you could understand you were standing in the footsteps of just about everyone else before you? Or how do you extend beyond our momentary understanding of time? This is a frame that takes 6 hours to create, so each slice represents a different moment in time, like a slit scan. But over the course of 6 hours, everything that moves dissolves. Everything that's consistent and solid remains. And so it really disrupts our reality with the built environment, where we live, and how our time shifts, our understanding of time can shift based on our perspective. In a similar vein, this is a 12-hour capture taken from cameras on cruise ships wandering around the oceans. So they could be anywhere, could be anywhen, but it's consolidated into a frame where you can see sunrise and sunset simultaneously. And what does it mean to exist in this otherworldly, timely experience where you can really experience a duration of time that's unimaginable to a human perspective? Okay, I didn't time out everything perfectly, but. Timey-wimey. Okay, the next one is coming up. I have a progress bar. You can't see. Okay. The next work, I think, is the time. Let's see. I forget. Oh, is it broken? It'll come back. Okay. Yeah, so this is my last work before I shift into the second half of this talk. So yeah, I think there's some real power to the mediums we use and how they can augment our understanding of the world and change our perception and maybe bring us new insights into the reality that we live in. And really, you know, I'm curious of how we can extend beyond this momentary existence and how we can see outside of our own lifeline or our lifetime. And what are some ways that we could consider maybe a scale outside of ourselves? You know, what of a sequoia tree or of the planet, or thousands of years, and life that does continue like this is so far outside of our understanding, and maybe extending beyond our own momentary existence could be helpful. Okay, so I wasn't sure if this was a more technical or artistic audience, so I made a little bit of both so that everyone's happy. So this was the first half, the art first section, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about my history, where TouchDesigner came from. I started at this company called Leviathan back in 2013. Wow, time flies. And it was really incredible kind of introduction to touch, even though it was really buggy back then. But I was instantly hooked. I was there for about a year, and then I found this other company called Obscura Digital. And Torin already gave away my whole story, but I found this company, Obscura Digital, based in San Francisco, and really learned a lot very quickly in just a couple years, flying around the world doing giant projection mapping installations, all in TouchDesigner. And it really taught me that you didn't need a team of 60. Most of this crew was 60, but really the core of any of these jobs was about 10 or 12 really smart people. And it really taught me that if you had the right people and the right crew, you can really make a lot happen. It taught me my limits and really pushed everyone in a crazy way. But you know, I don't think we could have done it without TouchDesigner. And you know, there was a long time that it wasn't really as popular. So it's really cool to see just in the last couple of years how much it's blown up and the community that's grown out of it. But yeah, had some crazy experiences, projected on the Empire State Building a couple times, and the Vatican, which is really wild, a bunch of things in Abu Dhabi. A crazy, incredible experience, and yeah, it really taught me a lot of what's possible, and it really gave me this confidence to, there I am, to start my own thing. And so when Obscura was acquired by the Sphere, my whole job changed. So suddenly I wasn't working in projection anymore. They had, you know, shifted to this new goal. And that's when I kind of decided to switch gears. Maybe I should have made this video a little shorter. And so it was then that I kind of decided to step back and pursue some of my other passions. Okay, next video. Any second now. Oh, there we go. Okay, so some of you might have seen this. Over the pandemic, I was playing around with real-time projection mapping using Vive controllers. So kind of a weekend project, but just as I was leaving Obscura, I started messing around with this, and it's pretty simple to accomplish. You know, I don't think it could have been done if we didn't have TouchDesigner, like in a weekend. It was pretty amazing. But this started a whole side inquiry of things. I'm really just throwing this in there because this is mainly why people know me in the TouchDesigner community. It like blew up a bit online, but I'm happy to talk to you about this technique if you're interested. But anyway, what I really want to talk about is what I ended up doing after Obscura. So there's a delay there I didn't expect here. I started this company, Spectra, with a couple of my best friends in the whole world. Really great people. I put together a team after I went to school at UCLA, Design Media Arts program, met a couple there, and then together with my sister and a couple other friends, put together a small studio, and it's been really fun. Kind of a little bit more experimental and playing with the combination of art and commercial work. So how do you split the difference and really bring back into the art practice and the creative community? So as Torin said, doing a lot, sharing information. Here's a piece we did recently. It's called Harry Potter Immersive Experience. And what's really exciting for this one is we invented these magic wands, and every visitor gets one, and they're little infrared flashlights. So using infrared cameras, we can detect where people are pointing at the wall. It's a really cheap, inexpensive way to make interactive objects for all of the guests. So anywhere in the experience, in every single room, there's some way that they can use this wand to either draw on the wall or turn lights on or activate video, and it makes it much more participatory and exciting. This is the crew. Some of them are here today. Could I get Spectre to stand up? We got a couple here. We got Jay, China in the back. If you guys want to chase them down after and ask them some questions, they're here wherever Mark is, calling you out. Really awesome people, and I think, you know, if you're going to spend this much time and work this hard, it's got to be with people you like to be around and that you care about, and that's kind of one of my biggest lessons. But, you know, to wrap up, Spectra is something I'm really care about, really passionate about, and sharing the community, sharing the space, and bringing other artists into the space. So we've been really fortunate to do some really awesome workshops and talks and lectures and live performances. In the next slide, you might see some familiar faces. A lot of overlap with what's going on here at ZeroSpace, definitely inspired by the workshops that Torin's doing and the talks here, and I feel like LA's got to pick up the slack a little bit. It's cool. Some of these people may have performed here, actually, which is really cool to see. I love it when that world gets a little smaller. So it's cool to see some familiar faces in the audience, too. Okay, something in this slide is funky. So I'm going to stall for a second and hope it fixes. Okay, so that is actually the end of my talk. Thank you so much, Torin and Lyell. Please come visit in LA if you ever have a chance. I'm glad that worked out. Special thanks to Spectre Studio, who's here. Track us down if you want to chat. And then I had a couple more thankses. Yeah, Karyn, collaborator, best friend, been working for a little while on some fun stuff. Q, my wife and partner, my newborn son. And here's my socials, so follow me if you like. Thank you.
Questions from the audience? I'm going to start. That was incredible. I haven't actually seen your time-lapse work before. Can you talk us through a little bit of your process for capturing some of those? Just like the like bike moving through all the frames.
Oh, a lot of patience. You just kind of sit there for a long time. Get a good tripod and good headphones. I don't know, when I started doing this, there was some experiment I did a while ago, and I just noticed that people actually do stand and walk in the same spot, or they'll like pose in the same way. And if you just wait long enough, you'll see the same exact thing happen over and over again, or the same people wearing the same exact clothes that stand in the same spot. And I just had this like collapsation of uniqueness, where everybody feels like they're having a moment, but it's really just the same moment occurring from different people shifted in time. And I found that was really powerful and poignant to me, to like interconnect all of us in a new way through our shared experience, where before you really just feel isolated in this moment. But yes, a lot of time and patience. You'll try to find like, you know, in that scenario, there was sort of a limited way that people could walk, so I knew that there was a higher probability that they would walk on the same path. But yeah, you learn patience when you get a little bit of successes, and then, but that was maybe an 8-hour shoot through the day. Question over there?
Hey, I know running a small studio is not easy, and I know that you've been recently starting to perform again, make work with, you know, collaborators like Karyn. Like, how do you balance the studio aspect, which is, you know, obviously not just commercial, there's community, there's art, but how do you balance all these aspects? What advice do you have for people who are doing the same things?
Well, I think it's the team. It's finding a team that like supports and balances the strengths and weaknesses that you have. And I think that's most important. You can't do it alone, and you really have to rely on other people that can help with the parts that you're not strong on. So I think it's kind of impossible to do it alone. It's the most rewarding and the most fun if you can team up and find the crew that helps you succeed and make things happen. And then I think there's like a slippery slope sometimes when you do commercial work where you can lose track of what your goals are. If you really are set on focusing on art, then make that a priority. You know, that's why I showed the art first. It's always going to be the top most important thing for me, and everything else has to be in service to that. And so if you keep your eye on that and you make sure that that's where your priorities are, then things will play out in the way you want. And I think a lot of people have this sort of pressure that now is the time to be an artist and make the art and deliver and produce and show off the work. But I think there's always time, and giving yourself a little break and patience. And sometimes there's times you have to grind on commercial work, and sometimes you can come back and get onto the art. And there's always a future where you can reinvest your time into the arts. So, yeah. There was one over here. Do you still have a question, or no? Cool. Well, find me after if you have any more. I'll be around.
Yeah. Thank you, Harvey. Performance. I'm going to walk over here. The sound system's going to love it. I'm just really good at this. Carnal Ex is going to join us in like 5-10 minutes or so. There's still a couple more drinks. I don't know. I was going to say let's do a little group photo, but I feel like we could just keep you where you are at, and I'll just stand up here instead of reversing the entire room. But I guess now that I said that, I just got to do it right now while the time is now. It's built in. Oh. Yeah, sure. Just like a photo of the audience. This is POV. This is how we show new presenters what they're going to be looking at. I guess actually, just everyone stand up. It looks, you look kind of boring, or bored, not boring. All right, and then do a big smile and or scream or something. 5, I can't get my phone to work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, cool, yeah. That was awesome. All right, AV's coming up. Stick around, we got one more thing.
here. So it's basically an audio reactive full rig, and the modular synthesizer is mostly controlling what's happening in TouchDesigner, mostly with triggers. I find that audio in general is really clumsy and clunky to work with for audio reactive stuff. And so I usually use triggers directly from the modular or from MIDI from the DAW, and molt the trigger and use that to generate the sound, but then also to generate something in TouchDesigner, right? And so during the past few years, it's been this whole process of trying to merge these two systems into something coherent that makes sense musically and visually and artistically, and to tame the beast as much as possible. And so this piece is called Integrations because it's really kind of where I'm at right now in integrating two different systems, but it's also an analogy of two different thoughts or like schools of thoughts, because I started from music and I've been doing music forever, and then I started doing TouchDesigner some years ago, and so for me it's that's the path, right? And so I'm integrating both of these things in the technologies, the workflows, the settings, my frameworks, my mental models around this stuff. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna take you guys on a little half-hour journey with me. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks ZeroSpace and DATLAB. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, blast me, please. Thank you, Alex. I guess for the last little moment, if there's anyone in the community that wants to do a little announcement, we've got a little open moment. I think there was at least one person that said they wanted to talk about a job listing. I indirectly coordinated with them. Any events, any shows coming up? It is December. I know it's cold. Oh yeah, we got one.
Hey all, I'm Robin. I run an immersive video game event where my band live scores a Super Smash Bros. Tournament. We are doing a show Thursday at OS in Chinatown. It's going to be Persona themed, so we're doing a bunch of music from Persona. But if anyone's looking for an internship and wants to get hands-on touch designer experience, come talk to me.
And I think that about wraps it. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. We are going to try to get people out of here soonish. I'm not pushing you out right now, but maybe within the next 15 by 10. But yeah, thank you all. We'll see you at 14, and good night.